Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Tyson Fury calling for the Ngannou fight, and I personally hope it gets done. But at the same time, if for some reason it doesn't come through, because we know Tyson Fury and Usyk, they're just trying to sort out a few last-minute details, and an announcement should be forthcoming, right? But in case it doesn't happen, Tyson Fury is saying he wants to fight Ngannou. Now, I honestly think that Ngannou was going to land a huge fight, whether it's Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, or Deontay Wilder. And let's just break this down real quick. Let's say Tyson Fury and Usyk, they fight. Should be a rematch. So for Ngannou, waiting for 8 months, even a year, that's not good. But it gives him time to work on his craft, right? To become a better boxer. Now, I don't know his financial situation. We know the UFC, they weren't paying him the kind of money he deserves. Doesn't mean he wasn't making good money compared to what the average, salary is in here, for the working man. But what I'm saying is, in that one fight against Tyson Fury, could be more money than he could have made in his entire career over there in the UFC. Now, I don't know all the specifics about the contract that the UFC renegotiated with Francis, but obviously it wasn't what Francis felt that he deserved. But I will say this for Francis Ngannou. Sometimes when he watches these guys like Tyson Fury making, 40, 50 million, Anthony Joshua, whatever he made against Usyk, upwards of, 60, 70, 80 million, right? It doesn't mean Francis Ngannou is going to walk into that kind of money, in every boxing match. But I will tell you this, in that one fight with Tyson Fury, he can make a lot of money. If he goes on and decides not to do another fight with a guy like Wilder or Anthony Joshua, there's a lot of money on the table. Now, could you imagine, right, with Francis Ngannou, because he's a free agent right now. Could you imagine Francis Ngannou and Anthony Joshua, with Anthony Joshua having Nigerian heritage, fighting in Africa, somewhere in Africa? They took that fight there for a sanctioned boxing match. Could you imagine the type of money that will be behind that? Could be a little bit of corruption too. Let's just be real. Because we know we hear some of the horror stories when it comes to politics and stuff out there in certain parts of the world, right? But at the end of the day, I think there'll be so much money behind that, and that will be a great fight that I think these guys could make unimaginable money for that fight. But let's say the Joshua fight for some reason isn't something that's there right now, because we know Joshua's in Dallas, Derek James, he's looking to kind of, have the rebirth to his career and come back, and he wants to fight all the big guys. Everybody wants to fight everybody right now. Everybody's looking to cash out because they're at the tail end of their careers. Nothing wrong with that. But could you imagine for Francis Ngannou, if the Joshua fight didn't sort itself out, because Joshua is strictly focused on boxing, right? Not these kind of freak show exhibition bouts. If Francis Ngannou was to fight another African, Deontay Wilder. And I'm laughing at that because Deontay Wilder went and did the whole genealogy thing and found out that, with his bloodline and everything, it goes all the way back to Nigeria. So Deontay Wilder now recognizes himself as, oh God, boy, I'm trying not to take it to the stupid with this video, boy. He recognizes himself as a Nigerian. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? It's good to know your history, especially for a lot of African Americans here in this country, and also a lot of the, let's just say black and white people, right? I'm not going to try to be politically correct. Black and white people, I think they all should go and do these kind of studies or tests to have an idea of which part of Africa you may come from, or you have some blood coming from India, or your family came from Ireland or Scotland or somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? I think they should do that. That brings closure to a person, man. You know what I'm saying? Now with me, I'm not gonna get into me, but I know a lot about my family history. You know what I'm saying? I'm very fortunate, but there is a part that I'm not too sure about, so I would like to do that. But just if I find out that, I don't know, 80%, when they sit here and do the whole study on me, it shows that 80% of my ancestry come from China. I'm not going to go around here and start talking about I'm Chinese. I'm not going to start celebrating Chinese New Year. But it'll be cool to have some closure. But at the end of the day, Francis Ngannou and Wilder, that fight anywhere, I think that would probably have to be more stateside though, would be a huge fight, man. And when you have all the parties expressing interest to create a fight, it's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Look at what happened here with, what's his name? Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. Matter of fact, let's peel it back. Let's look at the fantasy fight that was talked about with Manny Pacquiao and De La Hoya. That was boxing against boxing. 2 different weight classes. How do you close the gap on that? They were able to make it happen. You look at what Canelo Alvarez has done, bubbling up through all those different weight divisions, able to make it happen. Then you come and look at Floyd Mayweather and Conor McGregor, something that was just a fantasy matchup, just a conversation that happened. Look what it evolved into. They made it happen. Floyd Mayweather and these freaky exhibitions that he's doing out here, just robbing the bank, they're making it happen. So don't tell me that now, with everything that's happened in the past, as far as fights that realistically shouldn't happen but happen, you can't come now and tell me that Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury, or Francis Ngannou versus AJ, or Francis Ngannou versus Wilder. You can't tell me that that's something that probably won't materialize. It's probably even easier for it to materialize, especially that Francis Ngannou is a free agent. Now, what I do see happening is Francis Ngannou will train in boxing for a little bit. And I'm going to tell you right now, I personally think Eddie Hearn's going to jump all over it. Because, Eddie Hearn goes where the money is. Look at this Misfits boxing thing that's going on. Eddie Hearn and DAZN are all over it. Don't be surprised if Francis Ngannou gets an offer from DAZN. And then he starts training in boxing. And in his first fight, he fights someone like Derek Chisora. Now, Derek Chisora is a great fighter, but I think Francis Ngannou, if that punching power is real, I think he knocks Chisora out with no problem. This version of Chisora, I just don't think he stands a chance. But it'll be a good fight because, Ngannou's you're not just going to knock Francis Ngannou out. That's just not how that's going to work. But it'll be good for two reasons. One, marketing point, it's Francis is fighting a great boxer, a very tough, rugged boxer who's had champion titles, from the British level, right? But also you take a look at Ngannou, who's Cameroonian, and what's his name, Derek Chisora, who was originally, I think was born in Tanzania. So there's a lot to work with to make that fight. And plus, it's going to be an all-action fight. Chisora is not coming in there to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. But all I'm saying is we need to be open-minded to this fight taking place with Ngannou and one of these boxers, especially one of the three guys at the top. And I'm not talking about Usyk. I'm talking about Wilder, AJ, and Fury. And I just don't think the Usyk fight would make sense. But Wilder, Fury, AJ are the fights that I think everybody, when they talk about Francis Ngannou, that's what comes to mind. And the fact that TMZ is talking about Francis Ngannou fighting one of these top boxers, I'm telling you, it's just a matter of time before this whole thing comes to fruition. And look, it's a regular occurrence these days in the boxing world for a fighter to have more than one fight, on their plate. These guys want to have fights lined up. Okay,
Tachi drives social innovation,
what is
leveraging
that?
expertise in digital and green technologies to co-create sustainable solutions. Powered.
Apologize for that. It's not uncommon for these guys to have more than one fight on their plate. You know, it's always good to have something lined up. And you can take a look at Ryan Garcia and Gervonta Davis. Garcia went and fought this guy Hector Garcia, and already had Ryan Garcia in the hopper. So it's not uncommon. But we'll see if they can secure the deal. Frank Warren is open to it as well. And I really want to see Ngannou get the fight. Now, I don't know if you guys know the story on Ngannou. I believe I did a video on it, but if not, go to YouTube and let me see while I got you here, let me see if I can pull it up so I can tell you what it's actually called. Because, man, if you haven't seen the story on Francis Ngannou, man, it is heartfelt, man. Francis Ngannou documentary. Let me see. Yeah. Oh, here it is. Put in Francis Ngannou film, the Predator story, or put in Escaping Africa, the UFC's champ's violent journey. You need to watch that. Okay? If you just go to YouTube and type in Francis Ngannou documentary and watch it. Absolutely heartfelt. I mean, mind-blowing what this man had to go through. It's amazing. An amazing story. And that's why I hope it gets done, because, you know, when you see those stories like that, it just makes me want to root for a guy like that, man. You know, it's very, very, very amazing. But that being said, hope it gets done. Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury, the Gypsy King, against the Anthony Joshua from Nigerian heritage, or Deontay Wilder, who is also from Nigerian heritage. Y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. I'm in the breeze.